Hello, my dear folks, my dear Angelinos. Welcome to this show, the EastToWest show, exclusively sponsored by BP Aristo, best known by their internationally renowned Italian men's-style suits, such as this one I'm wearing. I'm lucky enough.
Wonderful.
And also their Aristo golf series, and I have a shirt on me. So do I look handsome?
Yes.
Normally I don't, but with Aristo and BP for Paul Botany, I do look different. Thank you, by the way, my dear friend, for sponsoring to the show. Now, today, my dear audience, this is the second day we're talking about, within the same week, talking about Rotary International. I know Rotary International for a long time, but to lots of my folks there, you might not be aware of the fact that is the largest organization on the global earth. As long as you're talking about human being, you're talking about the biggest human being organization for non-profit is Rotary International. Today I have the pleasure of being visited by, shall I address you, Pastor, please?
No, just Roger Schulte.
Mr. Roger Schulte. And he is the past president during the year of 2010 to 2012 for the governor of 5300 district of Rotary International, right?
Yes. Yes.
I know a big friend of 5300. She was a lieutenant governor for the same district, 5300. Her name is Luann Arredondo.
Yes.
So Luann, I'm sorry. It takes a little, I call you Lulu all the time, you know. It takes a little effort to pronounce the full name of yours in a proper way. Okay, so Roger, welcome to the show.
My pleasure.
Good,
My pleasure
all right.
to
Pleasure
be
is
here.
on me, and I believe the pleasure is all on my audiences because they want to know that.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yesterday, I mentioned at the show talking about the necessity that the Rotarians see on the global earth for the needy families and needy individuals, how to aid. With your program, when I started with my prep, with my homework, I see a big title, which is exactly the title of today's show, Save a Smile. So my first question, why are we smiling? What do we smile for?
We smile for life. We smile for all of the different things that have been given to us and how we are blessed. And one of the things that Rotarians have participated in is an organization called Rotaplast, which is a nonprofit organization that provides surgeries for cleft lip, cleft palate children and some older people or other anomalies in around the world. We have been probably in over 20 different countries of the world, and we've been in business 24 years this year. Coming up, 2017 will be our 25th year anniversary. And so we provide free surgical operations for families that have children that have cleft lip, cleft palate, and it changes their lives. It changes their lives because in some cultures,
if you have, if you have any kind of a deformation to any other part of the body, well, that's bad enough. If you had it on the lips, though.
Yes.
It is not only the looking, but the air, whatever, you're breathing, stuff like you're eating, stuff like that.
Very much so. Here's some pictures of children that we have worked on. And so those are pictures of cleft lip. And they basically, in some cultures, not all, some cultures they're hidden away. They see that it is a sign from God or the spirits that their family, someone in their family has done something wrong.
I see.
Other cultures, they can't go to school, they can't get a job, they can't work.
No wonder you want me to keep a smile to go or save a smile.
Yes.
This is really a way to smile, right?
It is.
Okay.
So,
my dear audience, I have to confess that It is shame on me for the past 24 years. I was not even aware of the existence of such a big organization under Rotary called Rota Plus. And it is such a wonderful organization. They offer the free surgical operation to people who has problem with their born problem with their lips, cleft lips,
cleft lip, cleft palate, and other anomalies. We basically we bring a team of doctors. Our team is usually about 30 people. We'll bring a team of surgeons.
Are you a doctor yourself?
I am not a doctor. I am not a medical volunteer. I'm a non-medical volunteer.
You're an organizer of that.
I'm an organizer. I try to raise some money. I have been on 3 missions myself as a non-medical volunteer. So let's say a team of 30, you will have all but maybe 8 are medical volunteers, because we will go in on a typical mission and have 3 operating rooms. We will be there 2 weeks. We'll actually do operations for 7 days. We have to do pre-work and post-work with the families. We can do 12, 14 operations in a day. The doctors come from primarily the United States, but I've been on teams where we've had a doctor from Czechoslovakia, doctors from Canada, obviously.
I see.
And then when we go into a community, we will work with local doctors there, teaching them, training them, helping them with the newest techniques on these kinds of surgeries.
I see.
We'll also bring in anesthesiologists.
To be honest with you, Roger, I'm getting excited because back in China, where I was born, in my hometown, I don't know why, there tend to be more people, more kids with the problem. Right. And I wish someday somehow you will outreach.
We have been in China once, but what we do is primarily we work with local Rotary clubs in the area, because they are the ones that get the word out.
Oh, they have the outreach.
And they can find us the hospitals.
I see.
They work with media. We've had people that have traveled over 10 hours.
You have one right in front of
you. Yes, they work with people.
I am influential. My organization is influential to not only here but also China.
Yes. So that's what we work on. Now, prevalence. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm giving you what I have read. Basically, 1 in 700 children has cleft lip, cleft palate anomaly. In the United States, we have approximately 7,500 children a year that are born with it, but we don't see it. It's taken care of right away. And our doctors today can do such a great job. They're amazing. In India, they called them men with miracle hands. And you cannot
You mean
tell.
an extra finger?
No. Well, we actually also have dealt with extra digits. But the doctors come in today in the United States. You say, well, we don't have it here. We do. You just don't see it.
We had them taken care of upon birth.
About 4 months, they will have their surgery. If it's cleft palate, a little later.
What is cleft? The cleft lips.
Yes.
Are the ones I see here, right?
Yes.
What else deformation do I have?
A cleft palate. Let me show you a picture of a cleft palate.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute here. Here's one right here. It's a small fistula. It can be about this big, or you can see here, that's almost an inch. And it's in the palate of the mouth. Some children, not many, have both cleft lip, cleft palate, and sometimes I have seen a deformity that went all the way up almost to the eye socket.
I see, like a cut all the way in.
The problem with cleft palate is that when a child is very young, there are lots of problems with it. Obviously, they can have a very difficult time drinking, because fluids come in, goes out, and comes out through the nose. Children with cleft lip and palate have trouble nursing. And so we can take care of this. Now, sometimes we would have children come in who had it taken care of, but as they grow, it opens up again, and you need to seal it off.
You want to seal it more.
Seal it off again.
I see.
So we will have children that's the way they are. But it totally changes their life.
I see.
Because when you have things like this, you're open to infection. You have a very difficult time, even with speech.
And,
we try, ideally, ideally at 6 months, you want to have cleft palate taken care of because it interferes with speech patterns and the development of speech patterns.
Of course, yes.
So it can be very, very hard for a child.
To my audience, once again, this is my first time. This is my first time to notice that there are people on the global earth who offers help free of charge to kids like that, of those, right? So with me, my dear friend, is Mr. Roger Schulte. He is a wonderful Rotarian because he works with the Rota Plus for a program aiding the special kids who needs help in this specific area called cleft lips and called the cleft palate. Yeah, stuff like that. And there are lots of people among the newborn, big number. You mentioned about
the average is 1 in 700.
1 in 700
is affected by a cleft lip, cleft palate. That isn't small.
Okay.
And it is. They don't really know. There isn't just one thing that causes it. There's there many times a genetic predisposition.
Yeah.
But also during mother's pregnancy, if there's pollution, smoking, vitamin deficiencies, primarily folic acid they're finding, are all things that can cause this.
Okay, Roger, let's take a short moment now. When we come back, we'll dig into two categories. Number one category, why Rotary gets involved with this.
Okay.
Number one, Rota Plus. And number two, from the upstream, how did it happen? How do we do to prevent it? And then downstream, there are different ways to talk about it, different categories to talk about it, where the money comes from.
Yes.
Right? Where the facilities come from, right? And there are lots and lots of work, lots of needle points in this whole thing, right? So, my dear audience, we'll be right back. Hello, my dear folks. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, the EastToWest show, that is exclusively sponsored by BP Aristo, best known for their internationally renowned Italian-style men's suit using nanotechnology. Nanotechnology meaning that they do some microscopic work to the fibers, so the fabric becomes water resistant. And it is stretchable.
Very nice.
It is stretchable.
It stretches.
You do elbow things, the elbow is stretchable, so it will not pop.
Is it cool?
Oh, it is
real
very,
cool,
very
not hot.
And also there are Aristo golf series, and that is a beautiful series that combines culture tradition with sports. Okay. Thank you for sponsoring. All right, back to the show. I'm getting excited not for no reason, because I first time, number one, hear the existence for 24 years for Rota Plus, a program, an organization under Rotary International that aids the kids especially need special help in the cases of cleft lips and the cleft palate problems. But the point is that medically it is simple, right? Medically it is easy understood. Right? But the thing is that how come there are people who walk in to do it on their own, right? and voluntarily. And you mentioned doctors will work on volunteer basis, right?
Yes.
So now, okay, like I said, the last segment, we want to go a little up to find out how did it happen upstream to cause the birth defect like that, and then we'll go from there by following that trend, please.
We've talked about possibility of birth defects being genetic and vitamin deficiencies and pollution and smoking when the mother is bearing a child.
Drug abuse.
Drug abuse, but it's primarily something that they really haven't decided if it's one thing, and it's prevalent all over the world. The key then, coming down to it, in 1992, a Rotarian, a plastic surgeon, Dr. Capozzi, worked with the San Francisco Rotary Club, and they had their first mission to Chile. They did a few missions to Chile and other places, and then in 1996 they became their own separate organization. They're really not part of Rotary, but it's a group of Rotarians and a Rotary Club that started it.
Yeah.
So they're not affiliated with Rotary.
It's called a Rotaplast.
Rotaplast. And it's
it
has treated in 2015 they had treated over 17,000 people with the disease. So here's how it works. We take and work with local Rotary clubs in different cities around the world. We go to Bangladesh, we go to South America, Central America, we've been to the Philippines, Romania, Africa, India, all over the world.
Well, you mentioned Czechoslovakia a while ago.
Well, that was one of our doctors came from there.
Doctors, yeah.
Then we have doctors volunteer their time. They have to be carefully vetted. And it's not only doctors, it's medical staff, because you have PACU nurses, operating room nurses, pediatricians, anesthesiologists. I had one anesthesiologist I worked who came from New Zealand. They give of their time, and then Rotaplast pays their transportation to the site, which has been vetted and developed by local Rotarians.
You are right,
So that it is there. It's local Rotarians, in most cases. It's local Rotarians who get the word out, and the first day after we have set up, we will have between 100 and 200 families lined up to be evaluated. Now, some of them are coming there for things that we're not dealing with. They just hear their doctors that are there.
I see.
Then we will take and screen them, vet them, and we use usually about 8 to 10, depends on the size of the team, non-medical volunteers, and that's where I come in. So what is a non-medical volunteer? Record keeping. There are no records for any of these people. Photojournalism. You take pre-post pictures. We write a blog. Before and after pictures. We write a blog so that people back home can see what is happening. We have blogs for every single one of our trips that are available. We also have somebody who deals with transport of materials. We have, on the last trip I had, we had 42 boxes, this big, of equipment and supplies. We buy our drugs in country because most countries won't allow you in transport bringing in drugs. And then we have people, a non-medical volunteer can do sterilization, can do record keeping, can do all of those kinds of things.
And you need the operation facilities.
Yes.
Such as the room, right?
So,
their system.
And so we have to go to a hospital that'll give us, if we're going to have 3 operating rooms, 3 spaces. We don't and lights and tables. My first mission in Tacna, Peru that I went on, they brought in surgical tables, but we had to prop them up with a piece of 2x12 to keep them from falling down. Other missions, we're dealing with developing countries. Other missions, we've had the electricity go out. And so literally, you're holding up cell phones as lights while they continue,
That's
continue
amazing.
working.
That's amazing, yeah.
But again, we go through and vet. We then take and schedule over 2 weeks the children, and sometimes they're older children, once in a while an adult,
I see.
and then we schedule them in time, and then operate on them, and then at the end we have a post clinic, and then they are all checked and so on.
Yeah.
The stories, that I could tell you about individuals are just amazing because
And I will,
of how far
I will later on check with you lots of details,
Yes.
or stories
Yes.
to let my audience feel the same way I feel. By the way, I want my audience to know how
Yes.
exactly I feel. And Roger, I moved.
Right.
Seriously.
Good.
Okay. Now, under heaven, above earth, there are people who are thinking about, creating wars, right? Making legitimate reasons to call upon wars that kills, because somebody has an inventory of bullets, of ammunitions to burn up with, right? And there are people on Wall Street who tries to make $1 zillion. They wish they can make $1 zillion per day rather than per year, so that there is no end to it. It's a relentless struggle for them to get the money as much as they can. And whereas you have people who kills out on the streets, right? You have people who make troubles, who try to benefit from somebody else's trouble, that kind of people. And then you have, on top of all these, you have terrorist attacks. So two people like me, myself, I sometimes feel kind of desperate. So where's the help? What are we supposed to do? Now I tell you, the news is there are people who care. Not only they care, but they actually jump on the problem. They get hands on the problem. They motivate a group of helpers, and that travels from A to B to B to C everywhere in the world to looking to fix the problem. And my friend Roger Schultz, he is one of them, leading a team and representing a beautiful program, beautiful organization called Rotaplast. To them, I have to salute.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Really.
I appreciate your words.
Seriously. Problems are problems. I know problems are problems until you get hands-on, right? Nowadays, to get a hands-on problem, there is always money involved.
Yes.
It has to be money related, otherwise you don't have a hand-on. How about the new take is, the challenge is, how about hands-on without having to ask for money? So that's another layer of questions, another layer, another elevation I would like to raise for today's subject. That is that people not only coming to help, with all the problems like I seriously described with a heavy heart, right? But also they offer it free of charge. Free of charge. Free of charge.
Free of charge.
Free of charge, man. Free of charge. These days, the best thing you can do, you say, they tell you, buy one, get one free. Or buy one, get the other one for 50%, something like that, right?
That's right.
Now this thing is free. That I'll really say is not a money issue, it's a spirit.
Yes.
It's a moral, right? With me today is my friend Roger Schultz, and he is the leader of the organization.
Well, I'm not the leader. I'm just a member.
He's leading, right? Some way,
I'm
somehow.
working with.
You are working with, and by the way, he's the pastor, right? Oh, by the way,
I'm district governor.
Okay.
Yeah.
And let's see. When we come back, we'll talk about some stories, and there are lots of stories there.
Oh, yes.
Interesting stories that will make a point. My dear audience, I said it 1 million times, but I still want to say for the 1 million the first time, do something, please. Such as myself, do something. Being desperate is the one that you understand, I understand. Being frustrated is the one you understand, I understand. We We know that, but thing is, there is always a chance that we can do something to make a change, make a difference, right? So we'll take a short moment out. Hello, my dear folks. Welcome back to the East-West show, exclusively sponsored by BP Aristo, best known for their Italian-style men's suit and the golf series named as Aristo. I'm a beneficiary of both, and that I look better, all right? You know that. So thank you, my friend, for your sponsorship. Back to the show. I owe my guest, Roger Schulte, a huge appreciation. It was my confession that for the 24 years past, I never know there's such thing available, and yet there are people involved heavily and globally to take care of the problem. Well, I really hate to show those pictures on the screen for my audiences. And the way you can imagine how bad that is, but if you have some after pictures,
I have some that I can show you.
I'll do rather after than before. Good. Now,
you might want to show both, before and after.
And I can flash before and then let after stay longer.
I brought my computer. We can pull some off after the meeting.
That exactly indicates how bad the problem is. Even I do not want to show it for longer than a nanosecond time or something like that. All right. Lots of stories, I believe, right?
Yeah, well, let me tell you of a few. First of all, I was told about Rotoplast in 2009, and I went on my first mission 2010, May of 2010, to Tacna, Peru. And I didn't know what to expect. Tacna is on the border with Chile, earthquake country. And of course, while we were there, we had an earthquake. But those of us who live in California, no problem with a 5.8, whatever. But those on our team, the doctors on our team, a nurse on our team from Idaho, they ran out of that hospital so fast.
Oh my God.
But anyway, while I was there, what turned me, I was transporting children from the ward and their mothers, taking them away from their mothers, and bringing them to the operating room. It was their time.
All right.
And of course, I had to entertain them, and I don't speak Spanish.
Okay.
I had to entertain them many times up for 30 minutes because they weren't ready.
You can dance.
I can hold them really tight. I can be the parent.
All right.
And the young boys I can talk with, and not talk with, but we got along. And it was, I only had one little baby that cried for the whole time. And other than that, I realized I'm even just carrying a child from one place to the other, caring for them, seeing them wrap their little finger around my hand because you bring them into an operating room with the lights and so on. I was hooked from then on because in 90 minutes, they came out. Yes, they were swollen and they had the stitches and so on. Their life had changed. They no longer had to be hidden away.
That's the decisive moment that may change the whole life from then on.
That's what brought me to Rotoplast. I was with my wife. We were lucky enough to go to India on a mission. And there was one story that really impacted me. And that was, her name was Radha, and she was a 15-year-old girl, beautiful girl with the kajal makeup and all. And she came in, and I wanted to know her story, and so we asked some questions. Her parents, she had cleft lip. Her parents in India had abandoned her. And she was found on the train station by the police dancing for money, for contributions.
I see.
They brought her to a juvenile-like home, a beautiful juvenile home, where she suddenly had food, schooling, a bed.
Okay.
But because of her misshapen face, she also had a nose that was all misshapen. The girls teased her, whatever.
Yeah, all the time.
She had what was called a compassionate mother. They assigned volunteers to serve as surrogate mothers that would come in and see her, found out about getting her lip taken care of, got her lip taken care of, paid $500 or whatever somewhere, but they never took care of her nose.
I see.
That's called rhinoplasty.
There's a class.
So you can see how her nose looked.
I see.
She came to us, she heard about it, her compassionate mother heard about it, brought her to us to see if we could do something.
I see.
Our surgeons looked at her, said yes, and it was about a 3-hour surgery.
Wow.
They worked on that. I never saw the end result, but the doctor said it was beautiful, because when I saw her at the end, it was all bandaged up. She turned to me afterwards, came up to me, turned to me, and she said, thank you, Rotoplast, thank you, Rotary. Both those words, those are her words. She's a top student in school. She said, now I can be an astronaut. That's her goal. But she said, but more importantly, now I can marry and have a family.
Oh my God.
Because the impact, we don't understand the full impact of this.
Exactly.
And 3 hours of surgery, free surgery for the family.
Changed a person's life.
Changed a person's life. And this is a very capable young woman.
I see.
Who, according to
talented.
records, and talented.
Good student,
but,
good record student.
Whatever. And just as there. I had another in India, I had another situation, which was very interesting.
I see.
A family came in, and the father was there with the mother and had the baby. The grandfather, who was a Sikh, stood far away. He wanted nothing to do with this. And we heard he was against all of this. He's going to die in surgery, and it is, if you're born that way, that's what you should be, and so on. But the father and the mother insisted, and the grandmother. But he was there, and I interfaced with them because I was dealing with record keeping and pictures. And I have a picture of him after the surgery. And he would not let that child out of his arms. He was so proud. There he is with them. And he came to me afterwards, and he bowed. He couldn't stop bowing and thanking me enough for what Rotoplast had done. And
That's magic.
It is magic.
That's magic.
And you have no idea of the impact. I have another story. I don't know if we have time for it or not.
Yeah, we do.
We
will have.
We can come back and that was not on one of my missions, but on a mission that I helped raise funds for. It was to Guatemala.
Guatemala.
And it's the story of Anthony. So we had our team there, and they go through and do pre-screening of all the children. And in the process of pre-screening, and again, the translator, actually our current district governor was the translator at the time, Luciano da Silva. And he found out that this young child, had a scar in his shoulder and a scar in his abdomen. And they were screening, and they said, okay, we can operate for the repair of a cleft palate, whatever. Then they found out the story. How did he get this scar and what's going on?
Yeah, that's a scar, unrelated.
Well, he has a bullet in his arm. The bullet went through him. What was happening was that his father and mother in a car were taking him to have paid surgery, $500 it cost, They were going to sell the car, go the 10 hours or whatever for surgery. They were put upon by a gang. And I don't want to get into all of those details because it even makes the story a lot longer. And the father, in the front seat of the car, put his whole body over the child and his wife, and the father was killed. We found out all of this.
Yeah, all right.
So in that shoulder is a bullet. Now, we couldn't take that out, and they had determined years ago they didn't. The family decided, they heard about rotoplast and free surgeries. They had come, this is the mother, and then later the grandmother came in with this boy, Anthony, and we were going to take care of that cleft palate that needed to be resealed. However, he's on the operating room. Suddenly, the anesthesiologist and I say, we've got to stop, we've got to pull him out. Think of yourself as a mother, and what's supposed to be an hour surgery, suddenly your child comes out in minutes. What's wrong? And of course, there's all the panic and all.
Okay.
Well, they determined that he had fluid in he had bronchitis. Well, you never operate with any kind of situation like that.
I see.
So they said, we can't operate. And what can we do? And they said, well, this is early in the cycle. Maybe next week it can clear up. They gave him some antibiotics. But she said, we've come 10 hours, public transportation,
long way,
and we have no money, and we have no place to stay. And it was a young woman, part of our team, Rebecca Weaver, a Rotarian, who then immediately talked to all of the other Rotarians. They talked to the cook who was feeding us. They found the cook had a little hotel. We put that mother and the child up. It's a hotel of sorts. Okay, it's like a Airbnb probably. But we paid for that, paid for food, paid for to be there. The mother, grandmother, and child, the following week came in and had a successful surgery. But here is a child that has gone through so much. You talked about war. You talked about all the awful things.
There are lots of it.
The issues like this are so prevalent and they impact lives.
You're right.
And you're just turned by it so much. You're right. The whole story.
Okay, all right. Let's
go back. Okay.
Let's take a break right now. When we come back, we'll continue sharing the stories because I've been moved all the time, and I was almost for a moment in tears. So let's stay with us. We'll be right back, please. Hello, dear folks. Welcome back to the East-West Show, exclusively sponsored by BP Arezzo, best known for their Italian-style men's suits, as one I'm wearing, using the nanotechnology. Also, their Arezzo golf series that combines life with tradition and also with fashion. Right. So. Thank you for sponsoring. Back to the show, though. Today, we're talking about the best suits and the best story. The best story being the story told by my friend, Roger Schulte, and he is the organizer of a big program sponsored by Rotoplast, and that's a sub-branch of Rotary International to take care of children with a cleft lips and a cleft palate problem. They're born with that, a birth defect. And lots of people had to carry a life all the way to death with that problem hanging, right? And now, thanks to the team, there is hope. And that hope is totally free of charge, right? Back to your story, sir.
Yeah, well,
I'm really I'm really more interested in the fact that from the stories, people will see more.
Yes.
How people work like you do, yet for nothing.
No, thank you. Well, the volunteers, the medical staff, we pay their way there, their transportation.
Okay.
Now they're giving up their livelihood for 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
The non-medical volunteers usually come from the district that is the Rotary district or club or whatever that is helping sponsor the particular mission. So, and I pay my own airfare.
You have to pay your
own air. Usually, and then housing is usually covered, and breakfast and lunch are usually covered. Sometimes dinner, depending on where you are. If you're in an area that you can't go out to eat, then that's the case. So there is
very super minimum.
But it's you're giving, and if we are so blessed to have what we have, we can do this.
Okay.
Now,
all right. Well, let me do a little insert here, right?
Yes.
We're all human. Human do have the same evaluation.
yes,
If somebody say to me, Jack, we like your show.
Yes.
Would you come to Beijing, give us a lecture on your show, and how much you're going to charge us? I said, okay. I will say I go for free, right? I can offer them free, but to be honest with you, I'll never say I'll cover my own air tickets,
Yes.
hotel expenses, food. No,
no.
I cannot
So,
do that. Right? That's double feature we're talking about.
anyway, and I do want to make something clear. The CEO of the organization is Donna Lee Young. She's a former past district governor. She's been on numerous missions, and she's based in San Francisco. She's originally from back east. And she's one outstanding person, and with her team in the office, which is minimal. I mean, we're talking 3 people, 4 people. That's all that we're dealing with. Carry out, now we're looking at 12 to 15 missions a year. 12 to 15 of these missions. They have one going out and another
That's
one.
a minimum 1 mission per month.
Yes.
Because you have to go three extra in a year, though, and some of the month has to do more.
Yeah, it's just amazing.
Amazing.
And there are many other organizations out there. I'm not being critical at all about them that deal with cleft lip, cleft palate.
I see.
Rotoplast has a 4-star Charity Navigator rating. That's the highest rating you can get. So you know that the money is going for the organization.
Exactly.
And one of the things that we're doing, I have been on 3 missions. In addition to that, I have raised funds for 3 other missions. One of them was to Liberia, and it was before the Ebola outbreak. And in fact, St. Joseph's Hospital, where we worked, two key doctors and 3 nurses that we worked with passed away because of Ebola. So those are just hard things.
Yeah.
But what I'm doing now, this year, is I'm focusing on a brand new mission. This time it's to Lima, Peru. Mission will cost approximately in the 80,000 total. Remember, you're dealing with probably anesthetics alone and all of that in the tens of thousands.
That's normally a big part of
Yes.
it. Yeah, operation costs.
And so I said I would fund up to $50,000 of that mission. And one of the things that's so exciting about it is that we've been there before, been there before at this particular hospital, and we have medical personnel. We're going to go into more complicated maxillofacial surgeries. So it's not just dealing with plastic surgery, but this. But to do that, we have people there that are assessing candidates for this. So you're dealing with bone surgery and things of that sort. They're taking pictures, they're working on things, they're getting medical records to us prior to our going over, and then we're going to enhance our team with specialists in that particular area. So, and there'll be longer surgeries, obviously. So the number they'll still be doing some cleft lip, cleft palate, but we're expanding it for this particular mission because we will be there, and we have people there already that can give us the information.
In other words,
so it's exciting.
In other words, the patients are pre-sorted.
Potential patients.
Yeah,
yes.
Potential patients are pre-sorted before the trip actually starts.
Only those that we're dealing with on this trip for the maxillofacial.
Okay.
The other patients will be lining up.
Yeah, of course.
The day for
people
the cleft lip,
hearing
cleft
that kind of
palate,
news.
yes.
If I were them, I would rush to you,
Right.
doctor.
Yes.
I have something else.
Yes.
Right. So,
Yeah.
and that will
So,
be.
that's
very human.
So I'm guessing that we might do, and this is a pure guess.
I see.
We might do 5 to 10 maxillofacial patients this time, but it also means we will be back. We will be back there, and one of the things is sustainability.
You're right.
Rotoplast goes back to many of the same communities because we have everything in place. We have the Rotarians to go out and bring the patients in. We have connections with the hospital. We have connections with the local leaders.
Exactly.
And that's critical.
With a story that profound, with a story that significant, how can it not be supported by lots of people?
Yeah. Well, and that's
right?
that's one of the things that I do when I reach out. I get money from Rotarians and Rotary clubs, but I would say a third, if not more, of the money that I get comes from individual contributions because they hear the story, they see what we're doing,
You're right.
they feel they can trust Rotary. They also, once they realize that Rotoplast is a really credible, transparent organization that has been here, they can give that way.
You know, Roger, that's exactly what I'm going to ask. You know, among all my audiences, there are lots of good people.
Yes.
And they're kind-hearted,
Yes.
right? And they may want to know if they want to do a little part of it. You have a website or whatever to take care of the donation?
Yeah. What I would suggest is that you don't go through me. You don't go through our Rotary District. You go through Rotoplast itself, which is, and I can give you that, and you can let them know it's rotoplast.org. And like any nonprofit, it's got buttons all over that say donate now, whatever. But when you donate, it'll ask in tribute of, is this a tribute? Say yes, and then up will pop up who you're doing it. If you can put down at least District 5300 or Rotary 5300 or just 5300, the money will then be earmarked for our mission in May to Lima, Peru.
Okay.
And I don't, you can donate to Rotoplast just generally for all their missions, but obviously my role is to make sure that this mission happens. And if a third of my money is coming from individuals, this would be wonderful.
Rotoplast, R-O-T-A, P-A or P-P?
I'll say it, okay?
R-O-P-T-A.
No. ROTAPLAST.org. But then go down, and when you put your name, it'll ask you want this in memory, a tribute to someone. Just click on that. You don't click on any one of the boxes. And then up will pop a box on the right, and just put in 5,300. And that would really help
5,300 is the number of district.
Yes.
The ID for the district, right?
And that would
it
help.
doesn't say that you have to donate $5,300, right?
Oh, well, I will take that.
Right. And also, if you would want to make a shortcut, you can contact my platform. It is agreed between us and the Rotary and the Rotoplast that we will serve as a platform for you guys to reach. And you can either call 626-856 at 3889, or you can send me an email, say jack@edimediainc.com, or you can send even to my personal letter box, email box, csijjack@hotmail.com. I will promise I will handle that contact and I'll get you Rotaplast. So with me today, we're over time, but I know that it is worth my while, your while, everybody's while. So is Roger Schulte?
Schulte, yes.
He's the organizer. Oh, he is the past governor for 5300 district of Rotary International. Now he is involved, heavily involved, organizing this big program with a big organization under Rotary International called Rotaplast. This organization that has a program to take care of those children with a birth defect on the lips. You call cleft lips, or you call cleft palate, which goes inside. And they have a mission for Peru in coming May. So that's all about it. And by the way, I like this. I would rather do 10 shows for this nature same day rather than talking about presidential election. I'm tired of it. So
we all are.
Okay. Thank you, my dear audience, for watching. And to Roger, thank you very much.
Thank you, Jack.
All right.
Thank you, my friend.
What a
Nice
show. I
meeting you.
enjoy it.